Borthakur IAS Academy, an endeavor of excellence.
Borthakur IAS Academy.
Hello everyone, welcome to Borthakur's IAS Academy, Northeast's premier institute for UPSC, APSC and NPSC preparations. I'm your friend Atrey, and today we will analyze all the important news and updates dated 17th of May 2021 only on Current Affairs 365. Your one-stop solution for all the important news and updates which will help you prepare for civil services examination, and not just that, it will also be beneficial for any other government competitive exams. So without any further ado, let's get started. So the first news of today is regarding the need for new approach in the education system post COVID-19 situation, right? We all know that due to the increase in the number of positive cases during the second wave of this pandemic, we are almost on the verge of a second lockdown, and one of the worst sufferers is the education department of our country and also the students. There are certain reasons which are responsible for this condition, right? And also there are certain concerns which we need to analyze. So first of all is online education. Right after the lockdown last year, the main alternative which came to all our mind, and it was practiced also on a wide range, is online education, right? It was seen as an alternative means for spreading education and keeping the students engaged during this difficult period. But this is not 100% practical when it comes to India, specifically because of the financial condition of the students and also those who belong to the rural areas, right? The affordability and availability of this system, it is a barrier for certain sections of our society. It can be seen as a boon for those students who come from established or strong financial background, from the upper and middle class section. But for the students who comes from the lower middle class group, or those who belong to the who are below the poverty line, it is not possible for them, right? So here we will have to find an alternative solution which is practically viable for all, right? Not just, it does not cater to just one section of the society, rather it is for all, and all the students belonging to any private or public government educational institute, right? They should be able to continue with their education even in this tough time, because it becomes very difficult. It will become very difficult for them to cope up after things return to normal, right? And then the next question is regarding the learning outcomes of online education. We all know that long-term exposure to internet is not seen as a beneficial step for the younger generation. First of all, they need to know the goods and bads, right? Before that, if they are exposed to this wide platform where you can get answers for all your queries, then this might decrease their analytical thinking capacity. And since the modern education system of our India, it sees scientific outlook, development of scientific outlook as one of the key parameters, right? Under that situation, if all the students are exposed to internet and they get all the answers from one particular platform, then that is going to be a very spoon-fed form of education. They will not be able to develop their thinking process. So this is another negative impact of the online education which has been considered. However, there are also certain possible solutions which can be implemented, okay, like the use of infrastructure. The entire infrastructure which is currently available, they can be fully utilized, and also if needed, then the government should try to invest on some more facilities which will be helpful in imparting education, okay, in this under these conditions. Also, we all know that classroom teaching, it gives a wide range of opportunity to the teacher and the educator to impart many more things apart from the formal education, right? Apart from the facts and information, there are very different types of ways in which they can impart knowledge. So we should try to find out some other alternatives that will provide similar type of opportunities to all the educators. And secondly, the institutions, they can work on finding new content for each subject, which will try to overcome the absence of classroom teaching within the framework of the existing syllabus. Then they can also try to develop the content which can be of a different type, that is self-explanatory, and also considering the IQ of the entire class, it has to be attractive for each of the students, right? And this should produce the same impact on the minds of the students as it does when they conduct any classroom classes. So these are the different types of new approaches, okay, new ideas which they can implement, so that the classroom like classes, all the classes which the teachers conduct on online mode, they remain as engaging as they were when it was taken in the classroom, right? So all these kind of things can be done, and along with that, a new evaluation system based on the capacity of analysis should be framed, so that the students need to apply their mind while they answer the questions on each subject during their online examinations. There are certain initiatives which the government has already taken when it comes to online learning or e-learning, okay? These includes the ePG Pathshala, which is an initiative by the Ministry of Human Resource Development to provide contents for studies for the PG students, graduation and postgraduate students, okay? Then Swayam, it provides an integrated platform for the online courses. Another one is NEAT, NEAT, which aims to use artificial intelligence to make the learning process more personalized and customized as per the requirement of the individual student. So there are many like that, which also includes Pragyata, then NAPTEL, or National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning, okay? These kind of initiatives were also taken. This National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning, it started in 2003, and one of the first one of a kind initiatives which was considered, okay? And its aim was to have web and video courses in engineering, sciences and management. It was initiated by 7 Indian Institutes of Technologies along with the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. So COVID-19, it has shown us the cons of the modern education system which still exists, right? We need to work on them, and we have to come up with certain solutions which is going to be beneficial in the long run for all the students of our country. The second news is regarding the cyclone Tauktae. This name has been suggested by Myanmar, which in Burmese language means a distinctively vocal lizard. And as per the reports of India Meteorological Department, they have informed that this cyclone is likely to touch the coastal areas of Gujarat on around 18th of May. And the wind speed might range up to around 175 km per hour. This can cause heavy to very heavy rainfall in some selective districts of Gujarat. And the IMD have also warned of a storm surge of about 2 to 3 meters above the astronomical tide. Because of this, the Indian Coast Guard and the Navy, they have deployed ships and helicopters for relief, search and rescue operations. And along with that, Indian Air Force and Engineer Task Force units of Army, they are also ready with the boats and rescue equipments and are on standby for deployment. The cyclone, it is expected to affect the western coast of India, including states of Gujarat, Karnataka, Kerala, Goa, West Rajasthan, etc. NDRF is also going to assist the state agencies in evacuating people from the vulnerable locations, and they will continuously hold community awareness campaign on how to deal with the cyclonic situation. The third news is regarding completion of the first residential project under the Swami Fund, which is special window for affordable and mid-income housing. The residential project named Rivali Park Winter Greens, it was the first investment and also the first project that got completed under this scheme. Okay, now let us see what is the Swami Fund all about. It is a government-backed fund which was set up as a Category 2 AIF, that is Alternate Investment Fund, which was registered under with SEBI, and it was launched in 2019. This fund was formed to complete constructions of the stalled RERA registered affordable and mid-income category housing projects which are stuck due to some paucity of funds. We know that RERA is the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act, which came into effect from 1st of May 2017, and it mainly has two aims. One is to protect the home buyers, and the next is to boost investments in the real estate sector by bringing transparency and efficiency in the sale purchase of real estates. So the next news is regarding the first BRICS Employment Working Group meeting. It was held recently at New Delhi in a virtual format, and here in this meeting India assumed the BRICS presidency for this year. Okay, the main points which were discussed in this meeting, it includes promoting social security agreements. We will discuss what social security agreement is all about, okay, among all the BRICS nations. Then formalization of labor markets, participation of women in labor forces, etc. So this social security agreement, it is kind of a bilateral agreement between India and any foreign country, which is mainly designed to protect the interests of its cross-border workers. This agreement, it will provide for avoidance of double coverage, and it will also ensure the equality of treatment to the workers of both the nations from a social security perspective. And India has signed this social security agreements with around 18 nations. The next news is about the National Program on Advanced Chemistry Cell Battery Storage, which is a scheme under the Ministry of Heavy Industries and Public Enterprises. Recently, a production-linked incentive scheme worth rupees 18,100 crore has been approved by the Union Cabinet for manufacturing advanced chemistry cell battery storage. What is this advanced chemistry cell? ACC, these are seen as the new generation of advanced storage technologies, okay, which will be used to store electric energy either as electrochemical or as chemical energy, and this energies can in turn be converted to electric energy whenever required as per convenience. So these storage batteries will not just cater to the electric vehicles, but also they are going to be used by the consumer electronics industry and in the electricity grids. Okay, now we have all this I have already discussed about the production linked incentive scheme in my last in one of the last videos, right? So this particular scheme, it aims to give companies incentives on the incremental sales from products manufactured in domestic units, right? And already the PLI scheme has been approved for several other sectors like the automobiles, pharmaceuticals, chemical cells and textiles, etc. The NPACC, that is National Program on Advanced Chemistry Cell Battery Storage, the expected benefits from this scheme includes demand creation for battery storage in India, facilitation of Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat initiatives, and this is also going to increase the demand for electric vehicles, which can significantly lessen the pollution of our environment, right? And this in turn is going to be a key contributing factor to reduce the India's greenhouse gas emissions. So this was all for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to like and share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Facebook as well as Instagram. I'll see you all again tomorrow with another session of Current Affairs 365 only at Borthakur's IAS Academy. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.
বৰঠাকুৰ IAS Academy প্ৰস্তুতি আৰু অধ্যয়নৰ নিৰ্ভৰযোগ্য ঠিকনা
বৰঠাকুৰ IAS Academy